Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next craft with our Grounded in Community workshop. This one is entitled A Beautiful Sky with Birch Trees. So I'm going to demonstrate creating this with watercolors. You could definitely use a different medium such as acrylics, perhaps watered down. I'm going to enjoy the watercolored look, and Liam's is going to look a little different than mine. He chose a sunset background, so I'm going to go ahead and do a night background and show you how that might look with stars. So I'm going to tip my camera as I talk and go through the instructions. Feel free to pause as you need with each step, and I'll kind of remind you where the steps kind of naturally come to a pause. And you do need masking tape, water, watercolors or acrylics, a pencil, a scissors, and some big flat brushes, and of course, cleanup materials. And I also have a ruler or a straight edge to make some lines. Okay, let's get started. So you're going to kind of see me creating this direction. So my first step, I've chosen the background. I want a star nighttime background. So I have my watercolors, but my first step is to add the masking tape and to choose a number of trees. I'm going to go ahead and go with 5 trees. And I'm going to put 3 in the front. And your trees do need to go all the way from the bottom to the top. Oh, I'm skipping a step. So let's begin by making 2 lines, kind of lightly, that are going to serve as our ground. Mostly straight. We might be erasing these so you don't have to make it too dark. I have my 2 lines, one's 1.5 inches, one's 1 inch. Okay, and now with my masking tape, I'm going to go ahead and do 3 trees in the front and 2 smaller ones in the back. So what I want to do here, not get my tape stuck, is start a little bit lower than the first line and go all the way to the top. And my paper got a little crinkled, and that's okay. So let's put on 3 of these. One's going to be centered. And now this one's the final. And these are the trees that are closest to me. So my next ones are going to be a little shorter or smaller. This is very thick masking tape. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it with my scissors after I tear it. I'm cutting it right in half, down the center. And hopefully that will also reach the top of the page. And it's going to be just a little bit below the lines. And because it's smaller, it's going to give me that depth perception I'm looking for. All right, and of course mine's a little longer here, so I may have to cut it off the paper if it gets stuck like mine. That's a little cutting it off. Okay, so there's my trees represented. Stick those down. Okay, and so the next step is going to be to mix my watercolors, and I'm using these tube watercolors. So I can have 3 separate containers. I don't need a lot of water, just 1 ounce or 1/2 ounce of water. And I've got a lighter blue, a darker blue, and a purple here. I'm going to squeeze some into each. Oh, that one had a little crusty on it. And I'm going to go at this horizon line, the second one. I'm going to start with this one, kind of imagining 3 layers of light here, of color. And with my brush, I'm going to start with the blue, mixing it up pretty good. I'm going to go straight across. I don't care if I get it on the masking tape because it's coming off anyways. And then back. So back and front, just flipping your brush. As you see, I have a lot more water than I'm going to need for this. So just get that really nice and covered. Okay. Then next step would be, let me rinse it off a little bit. The next blue, my darker blue. I'm going to start here. And you do want to blend a little bit. So what I recommend is go ahead and get it the thickness that you want. And it's going to naturally blend a little bit, then just bring it down a little bit. Bring it down into that color, maybe an inch. Okay, back up, make sure it's a third. Okay, so there's my next layer. And finally, I'm on my purple. I'm just going to bring that all the way up and across, not minding if it gets onto the masking tape. Masking tape is pretty waterproof, so you'll see it kind of beat up anyway. And then it's going to naturally blend, but you can go ahead and pull the purple down a little bit. And just make sure you get all the white covered. Okay, so there's my background already. And now I've got the ground here, which was really cool at Liam. I found a brown to use, and then we used a green pretty much straight up with the different brush to make the grass. So we're going to do that here again too. I have to get one of these cleaned out. I do like these little glass containers because they're, very sturdy. I've had plastic ones that those can kind of move a lot, and these ones stay right where you put them. So I do appreciate that. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little brown with water. Even though it's tinted blue, it's not going to hurt. And make sure I use the brush I was using before. All right. And then I'm just going to make like a ground, a dark brown ground, especially at night. So just follow that all the way through. Nice brown. I see a few white areas. So just look for those areas and make sure you cover them. And then I'm going to move my paper up just a tad here, close to the edge. I'm going to make some grass. So yeah, I could use another container. I'm just going to put it right here, actually. You have a little palette you could. I'm not going to put any water with this because I kind of want it to look textured. So I'm going to just brush up and down, especially at the border here where there would be grasses. And maybe you're making grasses with some texture in different areas. On the horizon, but also other places. And just do that up and down dab motion. And when you're happy with that, we'll take a break and let this dry completely before we remove the masking tape. And then we'll add some decor to the background and to the birch trees. Here's what I got so far. All right, I'm back with my dry project, and I went ahead and I removed the masking tape very carefully. See the depth perception? I really, really love it. I want to show you how to add some detail to your birch trees to kind of give them that rounded look. And I'm also going to show you, in case just freehanding is difficult, how to create a template for your artist. And artists, you can help create this too. And it makes it just easier. Kind of like you don't have to control your hand as much. You just stay in the lines of the template. So I'll show you that with just a little scrap paper here. But the idea is this rounded kind of look. And so we're just putting a little bit of, let me show you here, just some texture on the trees. It's just a pencil coming in all directions to give them that rounded feel. So you do want your motions to be curved. Hopefully you can see how I'm curving it there. I'm holding the pencil very lightly just to give those little darker areas where maybe the sun is hitting. And sometimes you have little like knots, right? So don't forget to just squiggle a little and put a knot somewhere. And if you see your pencil marks from before, you can always kind of go over them a little bit if you didn't erase them completely. I like to erase them because they are very straight and just add that texture. And you'll notice if your pencil goes over, it's not even a big deal because if you're dark like me, there's lots of give. All right, so just those lines kind of curving, little knots once in a while. Yeah, maybe a little bit more at the bottom where it might be darker. And once I feel complete, I will call that my birch art. Okay, so you can see the little textures I've added there just with the pencil. All right, so now I'm going to demonstrate making a template if you wanted to do it that way. So you're just going to basically cut like a rainbow, two curved larger lines. I have some tape. And you're basically going to tape these, but you're going to make a space in between it. I'm going to go ahead and tape the ends together, and I usually do flip it and put the tape on the tape. Do the other side. So it kind of looks like a little rainbow with a line in between. Okay, and just fold down any tape on the edges or cut it. If you need to cut that off, I'll just go ahead and cut that on here. And then you would just put this on the paper, and you can even see it would cover two different trees at a time, maybe three, depending on your art. And you just put some of the lines in there randomly as you need to get those little accent parts on your tree. So I'll do that with Liam and demonstrate how this works. So if you chose a nighttime sky, the final step is to add stars. I'm just going to use white acrylic paint and the back of a paintbrush. Little white acrylic here. And we're just going to dip and kind of add to the top. And I like to dip once and poke at least 10 times or so because it'll give that smaller star appearance as well as the bigger stars. And you don't want to overdo it with quite too many, but it is fun to add the stars. Random places. And remember, if you accidentally get it on a birch tree, you won't even see it. Some go down a little. All right. I'm happy with my stars. All right, so welcome to the demonstration where Liam and I are going to make this birch tree beautiful sky background together. So Liam, you have some decisions to make first before we get started. The first thing is the number of trees. So we're going to be making trees with this masking tape, and you have the choice between 4, 5, or 6. And I'm giving it like that because we don't need too many, but I do want to give you an option. So 4, 5, or 6 trees. All the way to 6. Okay. So what I was thinking is we would make 2 different kind of horizons. Okay. So the first one is going to be a little bit lower. So we're going to trace, and we might erase this mark, but we're going to go like this. Okay. And then the next one's going to be a little higher. So this is kind of like the background, the farthest one. And we got to go all the way the other side too. So I'm going to let go, and you're going to go across there. Okay, so, and we're missing a little bit on the one side, but that's okay. It'll work just fine. We can see it. So our trees on this line are going to be bigger than the trees on the second line, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is, I might even have you cut this, because that would be kind of cool. So here, let's get yourself all ready. Yep. Going to take, and you can hold that for me. Okay, and then you go ahead and cut at the top. There we go. All right. So this first birch tree is going to be from the front here, okay? So remember, you picked 6 of them. So we're going to put 3 in the front and 3 in the back. So we're going to kind of gauge, okay, smaller one back here, bigger one here, smaller, bigger. So let's make sure this one goes all the way to the other side. So you get ready and cut. And then you help me place it down on this border all the way. And it's a little tall, and that's okay. Actually, what we can do is we're going to be removing these afterwards anyway, so I'm going to wrap it around the corner. All right, and then now we need one for the middle. You ready? For the middle. So we're going to pull it out, and, okay, hold on. I want you to grab the scissors, and way up there. Okay. So this one's going to go kind of the same distance. All right. And so we have to put 2 little trees in one of here and one back here. So what I'm going to do is help Liam by cutting this thinner. This is a really thick masking tape, and you might have a thinner one at the house, at your house. So thinner might be better for the background trees. But I'm going to go ahead, Liam. We're not going to do it all the way yet. Maybe we have one in the back that's even smaller. We'll see. Okay, so this gives us some kind of depth perception. Okay, you ready? So this is the background, so we have to go all the way up there. And now we need to put 2 trees over here. So I'm going to go ahead and make them pretty much equal here. And you help put them on, okay? We'll make them, whoop, got a little unequal there, but you know what? Trees are all unique. So if you don't cut it perfectly, you can figure out, you know what? I might redo one just to make it look a little better. But, okay, let's get one on, and then this one's got a little unique curve in it, huh? And then we're gonna put one smaller one back here. Let's see. That way we have the number that you requested, buddy, all represented. If you want, you can put some branches on, or you can just leave them, the trunks, which I think we're going to leave today. Okay, so then lining up with that and pressing it all the way down. Yep, and just press all the way down. You see that spot there? Yeah, make it flat. Okay. So let me show our friends what we got so far. All right, we've got the birch trees represented here. This is going to come off, so we are watercoloring the background. So first thing we can do, we kind of want to erase some of these lines so they're not so thick. So do you want to help with this? If you have a white eraser, it might work better too, but go ahead and erase those lines. Yeah, do your best. So kind of line it up on the line and erase. We made it kind of thick, but that's okay. Yeah, and there'll be some under the trees that we'll work with eventually. So we're just gonna erase some of these so they're not quite as thick. They can kind of be there because we're gonna use them for painting. All right, the next decision, Liam, is the background. Do you want your background? I have three options. Do you want it to be a nighttime look where it would go from like pink to purple to dark blue, or a sunset, yellow, orange, and red, or daytime where it's just going to be blues and we've had some clouds in the skies? So you get to tell me nighttime, sunset, or daytime. S-U-N-S-and-E-N-T. And Liam often chooses the sunset look. I know, I like that look too. I think it's really cool. So then we're gonna prep the colors that we need for a sunset look. And the last thing we'll do is actually the ground. So let's see, Liam. We're gonna need an orange. Yep, and then we're gonna need a red. These are watercolors that come in tubes. Let's see, this is a red. And did you get the yellow? I think you had the yellow. I like these because we can make them in bowls, very separate, as opposed to the tray of watercolors. So, are you ready? You can help me pour. We don't need too much. That actually might be enough water for two. Okay, and then a little bit in this one. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and make the colors. We've got our brushes to use. So we're gonna go ahead and squeeze. Okay, that's orange. And I am using a multimedia paper, which is kind of the best for watercolors if you don't have Archer's watercolor paper. Okay, and then we got our red. Ooh, very red. And let your artist do what they can with this, and you help with the parts that they may need assistance with. Do you want to try by yourself squeezing that out? Yeah, get some yellow out. Awesome, that was a perfect amount too. Okay, so we're gonna do the sunset. We're gonna go from yellow to orange to red because the sun is at the horizon. So let's first mix this up really well. And you can make a little, I think I am gonna do this for you, Liam. You can use a sheet of paper or something so that the artist knows where to begin. Okay, and it won't matter if it gets on here. So we're gonna start right at the horizon. Ready, Liam? Okay, we're gonna go across. And you're gonna go right across the tape. So start at one side and all the way across the tape. Perfect. All right, we're gonna do it again, another strip up. Because remember, that tape's coming off. That's a bright yellow. That is bright. Let's do it one more time over to make sure it sticks in and the height we want. One more time, here. Yeah, here. Go ahead and do that a little bit. Okay. And then we'll move on to the orange. I'm going to use the same brush because these are all kind of blending and it's just watercolors. But you could rinse. Okay, next one. So you could go ahead and kind of blot this a little. And now we do the next one, the next layer. Yeah, it's even mixing a little there with the yellow. Okay, ready? Start all the way over. And here. You gotta hold on to it and keep it going to the end right there. Okay, one more. Up here and all the way across. Okay. And let's see how that blotted. Oh, okay. So we're gonna have to put a little bit where we kind of blotted it. So that's the one thing if you're not letting it dry. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And now the last one, which we probably don't need to, but I'm going to turn the page. So Liam, so you can see where the red's going to go. Okay. So now dip our red. I'm just going to let you figure that out. Do it at the final spot. Yeah. And we'll just do a little bit of the blending. You're doing great with that. Just a little bit of the blending here with the orange. And that way it's kind of faded, okay? Yeah, so then we're gonna go all the way over here. And then you're gonna dip. Let's put it right over where it needs to go. Right there. Awesome. And don't forget that little spot, and then maybe right there a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna have to let this dry. And oh, that looks kind of cool. I lifted it and all the colors are kind of moving with it and dripping off because we had a lot of water on here. So you might find that happens, and that's okay. Whatever happens in art is always beautiful. I am going to dab this so we don't have too much of a mess. Okay. So the last thing we have to do, Liam, is the ground. So we're going to pick some darker colors for the ground, and I'm going to go ahead and just empty out my orange, but maybe we'll keep just a little of the orange in there, and we'll find a brown. Let's see, there we go. Okay, raw sienna. Can you help me squeeze it? Oh, it's not punctured yet. Here. We've never used it. I had to puncture it. Here we go. Okay. So then the final thing we're going to do is our ground. And this, I have a real water container to rinse out that brush. All right, so it's kind of browning, a little bit of orange. Okay, so you're going to paint across the whole bottom there. Just get that whole bottom brown. That's like the dirt right now. And we'll add a little bit of green to it. So here. Bottom. Keep going. Got to get this side. Remember, the tape is going to come off. And then, so we're just going to add a little bit. This is a lot like the dirt. We'll add a little bit of green. And if you run out of containers, just rinse some or wipe some out. All right, a little bit of green, as if it's grass. And I'm not gonna put too much water with this because I want the texture. So a different brush, and we're gonna use this to make like grass, okay? So we're gonna dip it directly, and we're gonna go upwards now, as opposed to the downward. Okay, so, and you don't have to get it between everything, Liam, just kind of the white area there. Yeah, see how it looks like grass? So this watercolor, we didn't put any water with it. We're using it directly on the paper as if it's paint. And we're just going right up as if it's grass. Here, I let go. You do it right there. Yep. Yep. Try to go upward like the grass is growing in one direction. So up, 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 up. And it's okay if it merges a little bit with the brown because that's the idea. Yeah. And then what I might do is, here, Liam, we're going to go on the ground here and kind of go like this and get some of that green as if it's kind of foot pants or grass. And then, yeah, you do that. A little bit of green here and there. I know that the stamping motion is fun. It is easy. It's much easier than other motions. So a little bit over here. Just using up the green we got. And get way over there. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna let this dry, then we'll remove the masking tape and we'll add a little bit of decor to the birch trees. Now that Liam's art is mostly dry, I did go ahead and remove one piece of masking tape. It did get stuck to the paper just a little, so be careful, go slow. After a bit, we'll take all these off and we'll add some decor to the birch trees. All right, so Liam, we're gonna add some little decor to your birch tree so they look more three-dimensional. So as you see here, I added these little pencil marks. And you can try that freehand, but I also made a template to make it easy on you, okay? So remember, we're gonna wanna go downward for the template. So you wanna try freehand a little bit? I'll show you what I mean. We're just adding like, yeah, just lines like that on your tree, yeah. And you're gonna wanna stay in here. You're gonna wanna stay not in the yellow because you've got a bright color. So here, watch what you're doing. Yeah, you want to kind of make sure it's light and it's just on the tree. And that's why this could help. So here, let's get it right in between there. Yeah, and then you move over here and you can see, and then over at this one. Yeah. So there, and it even looks cool in the light like that. So let's do a little bit up here. So ready, line, and skip over, and skip over. Yeah. All right. And we'll do a little bit more just freehand because you're doing pretty good with that. Yeah, just put some marks, whatever you want, kind of on the trees. We're kind of curving, so we're kind of curving it to make it look like it's three-dimensional. That's kind of the idea. Okay, here, go on this one and see what you can do. So curve motion, so down. And you know, it's fine, whatever happens. Sometimes trees are really unique markings, you know, you can't always plan what's it's gonna look like. So there's an idea, but then there's also what happens out there. And we can always delete anything that gets in a place we don't necessarily want it, like marks on our background. Yeah, do that real quick there. There you go. And then I'll just erase. The watercolor was very forgiving. What got in between? All right, we'll do some more marks here. And I was doing these little knots. You see these? I took up the pencil and I would make a little knot like this. Like a knot in the tree. Now we see those sometimes. So like make a knot. Can you try to make a knot like right there? Here, ready? Go like this, go. Yeah, put it like back and forth. Like a little knot. Okay, this tree needs some work. Yeah. Yeah. Here, can you get the top of this one? Here, let's try to make it go this way. Cross, yeah, because that's kind of the line. But you know, you never know. Sometimes the lines could be very different. Let me just help get you a little bit here. Ready? Let's do this. Let's do one here. Right there. And we'll move up. Oh, make sure you're in the white spot. Okay. And then I'll move up a little bit more. I'll twist it just a little bit the other way. All right. There's some markings that are unique. And we'll get this one a little bit. Okay. And then and I did tape it down. So yeah, so let's just back and forth. And then we'll put a few knots. So we need a knot right here, and over here, and over here, and over here. And yeah, make it just look a little unique. Okay? Awesome. I really like it. It turned out really awesome. All right, so here are our completed beautiful sky birch trees. We chose different number of trees and different backgrounds. So you can do whatever you want with these. Have fun, make it your own, express your own creativity through this project.